Yeah, I just seen the Breakfast Club. Jimmy popping all that bull. I be seeing Jimmy talking about we Gucci boo boo. He in the Gucci store. He's like, we Gucci boo boo. I'm like King niggas was going fuck up. Jimmy they was like, Marita Monero.
Jimmy was not a rapper then.
Right.
He was your man, like on the side, like on the side, just he was not a rapper at all.
Right.
So when Ballin' took place, and I'm looking and I'm going, oh, he having a moment. That's the Lloyd Banks. It's Lloyd Banks thing.
When 50 Cent speaks, the entire rap world listens. And this time, his sights are locked on Jim Jones. It all popped off after Jim got a little too bold during an interview, throwing some slick comments and questioning 50's authenticity. He said something like, half these rappers just act tough with cameras. We know who's really outside. That one line lit the internet on fire. Fans didn't need any hints. Everyone knew exactly who he was talking about. Because if there's one rapper known for being both a business mogul and a street legend, it's Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. And let's be real, 50 doesn't let disrespect slide. Within hours, he responded the only way 50 knows how. Not with a diss track, not with a long rant, but with a cold, strategic Instagram post that shook the culture. He wrote, "Some of y'all better chill before I remind the city what really went down." No names, no tags, but everyone caught the message loud and clear. The energy, the timing, the caption, it all screamed, Jim Jones, this one for you. The comment section went wild. Fans flooded in saying things like, 50 about to expose somebody, and Jim better chill before 50 drops those receipts. Because if there's one thing everybody knows about 50 Cent, it's that when he says remind the city, he's not talking about music. He's talking about real life stories that most rappers wish would stay buried.
He wanted that. He was watching them be that, like Mace be that and Cam be that, and looked at, and it was finally, he had one. Mm-hmm. And I just looked, and I knew, I just took the shot, Murder, to see, because I wasn't sure he was going to go for it. But I was like, we like Jimmy better than you anyway, Cam. You gotta watch and see how he responds. And then when you see, he like, oh, he really like that. Give me this, give me Jimmy. Yeah, tell him we want you at this show, Jimmy. Yo, but that was one of those things I just threw it out and see what. And then when he bit to it, because it was like he was having a moment that not sure that was going to ever happen again at that point. And then he's going, for them, they had records that were, look, I always said it's to certain artists, I go, damn, when is he going to have his moment? Like, Fat.
50's never been the type to move without reason. He's a chess player in a game full of checkers. Every post, every word, every move is calculated. So when he puts out a message like that, it's not entertainment. It's a clear warning. A quiet reminder that some people might want to stop talking before he starts talking. That warning spread like wildfire. Within hours, every hip-hop page, blog, and fan account was reposting it on repeat, saying 50 had officially stepped back into villain mode. Even people close to Jim were allegedly hitting him up, telling him to chill out, because this wasn't just another internet back and forth. There's real history behind this tension. 50 and Jim have been circling each other for years, from those old Dipset versus G-Unit moments to street rumors and industry politics that run way deeper than music. But here's the thing, this isn't 2005 anymore. 50's not just a rapper now. He's a brand, a boss, a full-blown media empire. When he speaks, it doesn't just trend, it dominates a conversation. That post didn't just hit Jim, it shook the entire culture. People were saying, yo, 50's power right now is on another level.
Recently saw a clip on Instagram where a young kid was comparing you to Nas and saying that you got big hits. He looked to you, he learned how to wear the BB Simon belt from you. He got his swag, like, how crazy is that? Because in my era, you know what I'm saying? Nas is like a god.
In my era too. I mean,
So to
well,
be compared-
Well, let me
that young kid out.
He was young, and we loved that he loved Jim Jones. I want you to break it down.
Let's break this down. I admired Nas, but remember Nas' first record, The Barbecue, came out when I was in 11th grade.
Because he's not playing the rap game anymore. He's running the chessboard from the top. And meanwhile, Jim's still out here talking reckless. But this time, it feels different. 50 is not reacting like an artist defending his name. He's moving like a man who could erase someone's credibility with a single post. Jim might have thought he was just tossing out a slick comment for clout. But when 50 fired back, the whole vibe shifted instantly. The joke stopped. The question changed from what did Jim say to what does 50 know? And when that question starts echoing across hip-hop, everyone knows something serious might be coming next. To really understand why 50's warning hit the culture so hard, you've got to rewind to the roots of that G-Unit versus Dipset tension. Back in the early 2000s, New York owned hip-hop. On one side, you had 50 Cent and G-Unit running Queens. On the other, Cameron and Dipset holding down Harlem. Two empires, two different energies, both fighting for the crown. It never turned into all-out war, but the rivalry was always in the air. Pride, ego, and that quiet competition only real hustlers understand. Jim Jones, being Dipset's loudest voice, always made sure Harlem was heard, constantly reminding people that uptown energy hits different. But 50's story? It speaks louder than words. He didn't just rap about the struggle. He lived it, survived it, and built an empire from it. Shootouts, label drama, industry politics. 50 walked through fire and came out a mogul. That's why every time Jim threw shade, fans saw it as jealousy, not confidence. Because deep down, everybody knows 50 owned his spot. Fast forward to now. 50's a global brand, running blockbuster shows like Power and BMF, turning street credibility into generational wealth. Meanwhile, Jim's still chasing attention by name-dropping whoever's hot at the moment. That's why 50's latest warning didn't sound like a rapper dissing another rapper. It felt like a boss checking an employee. That know-your-lane type of energy. Around the same time, Jim started talking about his idols, saying Nas inspired him back in the day. He talked about coming up in the 90s, finding his style, and how this new generation connect with him now. But people couldn't help but notice. The timing of that speech felt like deflection, like he was trying to shift the conversation away from 50's post. Insiders say 50's message wasn't random either. He'd been watching Jim throw slick shots for months, from his shade at Maze and Cameron to now targeting 50 himself. Jim's been poking at too many legends from the same tree, and it's catching up fast. The internet even started calling him Harlem's noisy neighbor, always talking, rarely dropping music. And the real issue? Jim's trying to prove something that doesn't even need proving anymore, constantly reminding people is outside his real Harlem. But in 2025, the game's evolved. It's not about who's outside, it's about who's making moves. And that's where 50 shines. When he dropped that cryptic post, fans said it felt like a flashback, like the old get rich or die trying 50 had stepped out for one more round. The tone, the power, the mystery, it reminded everyone why 50's name still carries weight in every corner of the industry. He's not the type to argue online. He's the type to pull files, drop receipts, and shut down careers quietly.
But I hear the comparisons and then Nick be trying to act funny when it comes. No, I've been spanking a lot of this. I'm talking about the industry. I've been putting on. So let's not get into that where we get into numbers and I got to show you the statistics of what I've done. You heard to what other people was done. You heard, and if you want to go to the Billboard entries, pull up Nas' Billboard entries and pull up my Billboard entries.
Listen, we can't compare the two. What I'm trying to tell you is
I want to go there.
Hold on.
I want to go down the line now because you have me going down the line. He's a rapper and I'm a rapper.
Listen,
let's go statistically.
It feels great.
No, but I want to go statistically because when people be like,
I feel the same way. We all feel the same way.
And forget about the numbers. My numbers back up.
Let me step up to the fore.
And when he said, remind the city, people started whispering because everybody knows 50's connections in New York run deep. Jim's response? Silence. No post, no clapback, no live rant, nothing. And that's silence at everything. Because when 50 Cent calls you out and you go quiet, that's not peace, that's pressure. And right now, Jim's feeling every ounce of it. After that warning exploded online, fans started digging into the history between 50 Cent and Jim Jones, and that's when things got even deeper. 4 years, there have been whispers that their tension went way beyond rap. Stories about street business, deals that went sideways, and alliances that fell apart behind the scenes. Nobody ever said it publicly, but when 50 wrote Remind the City, it felt like he was hinting at something real. The internet went crazy with theories. Some said it had to do with old Harlem ties. Others believed it traced back to label politics, especially when 50 and Cameron went at it back on Hot 97, with Jim always backing Cam to fullest. Even though time passed, that energy never really disappeared. 50 moved forward, built empires, but Jim, he kept that same tension alive in interviews and comments. And now, it feels like karma's finally circling back. People online are saying Jim should have kept 50's name out of his mouth, because this is the same man who's humbled rappers, CEOs, even billionaires. From Ja Rule to Diddy, 50's track record speaks for itself. Once he picks a target, he doesn't stop until they fold. And the wild part? He didn't even have to say much this time. Just one post sent shockwaves through the culture. Suddenly, rappers started unfollowing Jim. Bloggers began digging up old interviews where he talked reckless. Even some of his Harlem peers went silent. Everyone's waiting, wondering if 50's about to pull another exposure moment. Because if he does, the internet's going to melt down. Then, a few days later, fans noticed something. That infamous post was gone. 50 had deleted it. And if you know how 50 moves, that's not a retreat, that's strategy. When he goes silent, that usually means the next move's already in motion. That's a difference between him and most rappers. They talk for clout, he moves for impact. Meanwhile, Jim's been quiet too. People close to him claim he's unbothered, but that's hard to believe, because once 50's name is involved, even silence feels like tension. Every podcast mention, every comment, every tweet is now being dissected. The whole culture's on standby, waiting for 50's next move. And let's be real, this isn't about rap anymore. It's about pride. Jim built his image on being Harlem's toughest voice, but now the internet's calling him the man who woke up 50 Cent. And that's never a good title to have. Because when you wake 50 up, he doesn't just clown you, he dismantles reputations. He's been doing it for 2 decades. 50 turns beef into headlines, headlines into money, and money into power. That's what separates him from Jim. While 50 turns tension into profit, Jim turns it into problems. Fans online started comparing their careers. 50's been rich, relevant, and respected for over 20 years. Jim's still grinding, but most of his spotlight now comes from interviews, not hits. And that's the truth this whole situation exposed. 50 doesn't chase validation. He owns it. Every time someone mentions his name, he finds a way to flip it into leverage. That's why people are saying this wasn't just a warning to Jim. It was a message to the whole industry. 50 Cent's reminding everyone that respect is non-negotiable, and if you speak on his name, you better be ready for what comes next. Even in 2025, 50 Cent's presence proves one thing. He still controls a conversation whenever he wants to. One cryptic line from him can freeze the internet for days. That's not hype, that's power. It's like he presses post, and the whole culture stops to listen. Meanwhile, Jim's out here reminding people about his legacy, saying, check my track record, check the charts, compare my stats. But numbers don't lie. Jim's got 9 Billboard 200 entries, 3 top 10s, and 0 number 1s. Nas, on the other hand, has 27 entries, 16 top 10s, and 6 number 1 albums. The gap speaks for itself. Now, to be fair, Jim's still active in 2025. He's been putting out solid music, staying consistent, repping New York heavy. Some critics even admit his recent work has been his best yet. But Nas is in a different lane. His pen, his legacy, his presence, it's immortal. He doesn't need to chase smoke. His name is a standard. Jim's hunger keeps him moving. But right now, it's not about skill. It's about the storm he's standing in. Because after 50's post, the world's watching his every move. If Jim claps back, 50 will unload. If he stays quiet, it looks like defeat. That's what makes 50 dangerous. Every response is a trap. Even celebrities have started speaking up. saying things like, Jim better leave that one alone. Because everyone knows how 50 operates. He doesn't argue, he strategizes. He waits. He collects information. And when he strikes, it's perfectly timed. That's why his warning went viral. It wasn't just a random post. It was a power play. A message to the whole industry. Some names still carry weight. And some rivalries never die. 50's word was simple but cold. Don't play with me. I built too much to entertain clowns. And that hit different. Because it reminded everyone that this isn't just entertainment, it's dominance. Now, the entire hip-hop world's holding its breath, waiting to see what happens next. Will Jim risk it all to defend his pride? Or will he stay silent before 50 turns that quiet warning into a full-blown expose? And just when things couldn't get any louder, Jim showed up on Fat Joe and Jadakiss' podcast. The topic? A viral clip of a young fan, barely 23, saying Jim Jones was better than Nas and had more Billboard hits. It sparked outrage. Some felt disrespected. Others saw it as a generational debate. Even the host said, the numbers are the numbers, but in New York, we don't measure greatness by charts. Because in the city that raised legends, respect outweighs statistics every time. So here's the takeaway. 50 Cent doesn't need to shout to make noise. His silence is louder than most people's songs. And when he says, I'll remind the city, you better believe he's holding something heavy. The question now is simple. Is Jim ready for what comes next? Because history shows, when 50 moves, somebody's reputation doesn't make it out alive.